Hello everyone, it is an honor itself to honor these beautiful people who have gathered here. I am Khizar Ahmed, Director of Khizar Technologies Private Limited. I welcome you all today. We are into web designing and development, mobile application development, digital marketing. We help schools and colleges in their admissions. Thank you all for giving us your precious time. Before moving forward, let me first acknowledge the presence of some of our eminent guests today. We have Mrs. Mehak, who is the founder and partner at Athena Training Academy, who will be our first speaker. Mehak is a dynamic, energetic speaker who shares a decade of business experience in travel and tourism, hospitality, and aviation industry. She is a sought after trainer known for her ability to blend humor, storytelling, insights, and practicality. She combines powerful lessons, unique stories, tons of energy, and enthusiasm to make every training session a memorable one. She is currently involved in training at corporate and colleges where she is instrumental in touching the lives of individuals and helping them realize their inner potential and touch excellence in every walk of life. We welcome you, ma'am. Over to you, Mehak madam.
Thank you, Mr. Khizar. Thank you for a very beautiful introduction which you have given about me.
It
Happy
is
afternoon to all the participants over here. It's a pleasure all giving your time for this session today and just coming and visiting us and listening to what we have to talk. We are talking about thought leadership and crisis today. All of us at some given point of our time, we all are playing as the role of a leader. Especially the COVID-19 has given us this lessons. For some, it is we may although have a lot of complaints about certain things working for us and certain things not working for us, and we staying back at home and we are very limited resources and we are not able to do certain things. But at the same time, it has also got us into a mode where there is a lot of learning and sharing which is happening. We have also got to learn about the virtual methods, how we can go virtual, connect with people, and still share and also conduct our business virtually. So we are here today to talk about the thought leadership during the crisis time. According to all of you, what do you think is something which is very important skill which we need to have, or a very important, as I mentioned, a skill which is very essential for us to have at this point of time? So can I have the participants also to be a part of this and share in your input before I have to give in my input to this? What is that one skill, or what is it that your strength which you would say is very essential during this point of time for us to have to face a situation which right now we are in? Say, for example, we are already facing COVID-19. We've crossed 3 months of it, and we do not know when we would be able to come over it. So what is that one skill or strength which according to you you would think is very essential for us to have to face this situation well? The participants can answer, please. This is a two-way session where we are trying to have, where you also part of it.
we want this to be an interactive session. I request the participants.
That one skill or strength which you would say is essential to face this situation. If I have to put it in one word, can I name it as resilience? Do you all agree with it?
I agree, ma'am.
Yes? The participants, do you all agree that it's very essential for us to have resilience? Richa says yes. According to all of you, what do you understand by resilience? What do I mean by saying that I need to have resilience to overcome a situation or handle a situation? We need certain skills to handle situations. Yes. What kind of skills? You could call it as endurance, you could call it as optimism, you could call your strength, you could be a self-believer, you would need survival skills, you need to have the resilience to bounce back to whatever situation they are put into, whatever is put into, some given point of time bounce back. So I would just like to share, which will help us understand the resilience and also try to overcome our little difficulties which we are facing right now because of the COVID-19. Just give me a moment. I shall share an PPT with all of you to understand this better. Kaiser, if you could just tell us the screen sharing, please.
Kindly go ahead, Mahek.
It's still disabled for me.
You can, Mahek. I've given you the permission.
So we are here to talk about resilience. We are here endurance, optimism, strength, the self-belief which we have, the survival, the flexibility, the adaptability, and finally we need to bounce back. So it's very essential during this point of time for us to build our resilience. And what are the causes which we face normally, which all of us are facing? There's a lot of during handling challenges, there are a lot of things which you're facing. What could be the cause for it? One of them could be the stress and anxiety, which we call it as. So the stress and anxiety could be because of we are too overwhelmed or we are worried to even begin to work with stuff. Sometimes you all would have faced that, you know that A, B, C things are there to be done and you have put it in your time list and you have written it down and you know that this is to be completed. But because we are so stressed and we're so anxious that we actually are not actually getting to the task and doing it because that we'll be too overwhelmed. We're only worried that how would I do it? When will I complete it? Will I be able to do it or not able to do it? The other cause of the challenge which we face is the rebel. We do not want to do it, you can't make me do it. If we have the quality in us, we have a behavior towards a certain task saying that, oh my God, this is not something which I would want to do. And if you have a fixed thought process in your head, then it's very difficult for the other person to actually make you come out of the rebel attitude and make you do it. Another thing is sometimes we also face a challenge because of the lifestyle. Because sometimes we get very lethargic. Now the COVID period, some of us have got very active, but some of our activities has also come down because the gyms are closed and we're not able to go for a walk. And you're restricted to the four walls which are there within us. So sometimes we find that as we become very lethargic and kind of couch potatoes. We do not want to have any physical activity, which can also lead to an unhealthy lifestyle, which may result a person feeling very unconfident. Because as you exercise your body, the more amount of exercising you do and the physical activity which you have, your brain also develops and grows accordingly and activates the hormones, which will help you energize yourself. And sometimes we also face this that we have a fear of success or failure. Many times, even before we start doing a task, the first thing comes into mind, will I be successful in doing it? What will happen if I fail? What will people tell about me? That people thought, what is the other person going to talk about me, or what is the other person going to tell about me? There's something which is hovering over our mind so much that we actually don't want to do the task because I think probably I may fail. Or sometimes it may so happen that you would have attempted to do a particular task in the past and you may have failed for ABC reasons. And it so happens that that is registered in your mind at the unconscious mind and you don't want to do it again because probably the failure is again hitting back that what if I fail this time as well? I will lose my self-confidence there. And sometimes it's a preoccupation. We are sometimes, especially nowadays, we are too preoccupied with a lot of things. There are the financial issues which we are facing. Sometimes some of us are also facing some relationship issues. So at the back of the mind, the thought process is there with all these things, how am I going to solve it? So you're so preoccupied with thought that you don't want to actually get into the action and do the task. And sometimes you also have the environmental hazards which are there around us. You have a noisy phone, you have a desk which is clustered. You don't want to clear up things and you're like, oh my God, so much work, how will I finish it? And you just don't want to do it. Some of the other pressures and challenges which we also face is lack of enjoyment, because now the only enjoyment we can get is either through the television mode or through an online mode. And because we're so glued to online most of the time because of our work, that we don't want to again sit and play games on the mobile again. Because you're tired of it, doing a meeting, you're tired of doing a webinar, you're tired of doing this. So again, looking back at the screen is something which is not very entertaining anymore. So sometimes because of lack of enjoyment, you don't like the task. You want to do more of enjoymental tasks, because of which again, you may be pushing back on these things. And I think if some of you have also faced this, sometimes I have faced your poor time management. We will plan everything out, and sometimes we try to cluster it so much, we try to put so much into time management that we fail to manage the time. It's not that all of us have 24 hours, and within that 24 hours is where we look at the task being completed. But sometimes we fail to prioritize, because we can always say, it's okay, we can do it at a later stage. It's all right, we'll be able to finish it little later. Let me relax a little bit now. I procrastinate and say, okay, let's do it at a later. And sometimes it's lack of self-confidence also, which we see that we are not able to gain that confidence. You may not feel very confident that how am I going to perform. So that also holds you back, and that kind of puts your tasks at the back seat. And sometimes that we have, we feel we are very energetic. There's a lot of things which I can achieve, and then I put A, B, C, D, everything into my list, and I say that, okay, this is my time list, and I'm going to finish all this today. And suddenly you realize that we're time bound, and it's practically sometimes not possible to finish all the tasks at the specific time which we have undertaken. So it becomes very unrealistic for us to try to finish that. And sometimes we want the task to be so very perfect. The moment I talk about perfect, I don't know, I'm a very big filmy buff kind of a person. So I remember Amir Khan, whenever he does a movie, he says, I will do it 3 years only once. I'm going to make it very perfect, and I want every scene to be the way it has to be, and it cannot go otherwise. But sometimes in that perfection, trying to achieve that perfection, we miss out on actually completing the task itself. We leave it half done or undone, and then we move forward, because all of it can't be Amir Khan. So how do we deal with this? There has to be some methodologies where we need to deal with this as well. Very simple things which we can do is, first and foremost, accept that dealing about pressure is all about your attitude. Sometimes it's all in the head. It's all stuck in here. If you think I can do it, yes, you can do it. If you think no, I can't, then no one can make you do it as well. So it's all in your attitude, your positiveness, how you put it forward. You want to do it, yes, you would be able to do it. You need to create a personal vision about yourself when you're dealing with pressure and challenge, because what we have seen is most of us have a very low self-esteem at times. We always doubt our own skill set, irrespective of the time. That a lot of them would have told you that you are capable of doing this, you're this, you're that, but you yourself fail to recognize that yes, you have a vision, or you do not have a vision or a self-esteem about yourself that you can do it. And the very prominent thing which I have come across, what I have seen in people not gaining back the resilience and not overcoming certain things or in completing the task, is lack of focus. What we see is we tend to have so many things to focus about, and we get refocused on what actually needs to be focused, and then finally you start a story somewhere and you end it altogether somewhere else, and you're completely deviated from what is.
Meg, sorry to interrupt in between, but there's some kind of a disturbance coming in your voice.
Okay, am I clear now?
Yeah, Meg, better now.
Better now? Okay. And then we're also talking about developing the perspective of.
There's a microphone problem or something from your end, because you are able to hear that frequency sound and all. Like, we're totally unable to hear you.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Just give me a moment. I'll just rectify this, please.
The participants who are participating today, I'll be giving you a link in the chat. I request you all to join the WhatsApp group using the chat link for future updates from Criza Technologies. We have Dr. Vijaya Saraswati also with us. Welcome, Dr. Vijaya Saraswati.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me for this Thought Leaders During Crisis. This is a very amazing topic, and this is the time we need resilience, effective communication, and leadership in mind. So I'm so happy to be a part of this program. So thank you, Kiza, for arranging this. It's amazing to be with you all.
It was a pleasure, ma'am.
Can I continue? Am I audible now?
Yes, Mike, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. See, this is what I said, resilience, we need to bounce back. Sometimes we have a lot of technical issues as well, which we face. So we also need to talk about, we need to create a willingness to learn and develop from one situation to another. Normally, most of the time, what we have seen is when it comes to any kind of a situation and we feel if the situation is not working in our favor, we have 10% of the response and 90% what we have seen is a reaction which we give to the situation. It has to be vice versa, where we need to 90% have a response and sometimes 10%, yes, reactions are essential, but 90% should be your response and not the other way around. We need to love ambiguity and challenges, because until and unless you adapt, that challenges are there every day when you wake up in the morning till you go back to sleep, that life is a challenge. It throws up different challenges to you. You need to accept that fact that this is the way it's going to be and I need to adapt myself to it. What are the causes which we see of lack of resilience in case if we do not have resilience? What is it that we see? We are going to face poor peer relationship. We are going to face substance abuse. We are going to have time, the lack of time. We are going to have lack of ability. We will have a lot of personal problems. You will also feel low motivation. You will not feel motivated at all. You may have poor work ethic and you may be very unfamiliar with the equipment or with the processes. These are the things which you would face in case if you do not have your resilience. So what did you all know that intelligent quotient contributes to only 20% of success in life, whereas your emotional intelligence contributes to 80% of the success in your lives. So what is the factors which we need to remember while we are building resilience? You need to have a recognition. Remember that you were praised, you were recognized, you were known for your accomplishments by the managers. You need to have a sense of achievement, understand that there's a fruit of some kind when you're going to do this job. You need to have growth and promotional opportunities will be there for you to motivate, where you will be able to build your resilience and pressures. And you must be responsible for your work, which is very, very important. And you must be giving some meaning to the work which you're doing. Understand the work is meaningful, interesting, challenging, and will help you perform and you will feel very motivated. So where does the motivation come from? It has to come from somewhere outside. It is not that people are waiting that, yes, please, Mehak, please come, I will motivate you. And then you get motivated and you go and speak. No, it's very essential for you to be self-motivated. You need to give yourself, remind yourself every now and then that you're very important, you're very special, and you're very special. That's why you're here. So how do I do that? You need not to wait for someone else to motivate you to build your resilience to be successful. You will feel better about yourself when you are self-motivated. You will not have to feel guilty. Many a times it so happens that certain circumstances are not under our control. All of us are humans and humans definitely do commit mistakes. So it's okay to commit mistakes. It's okay to commit mistakes and move forward with it. Learn from your mistakes and take a step ahead, and do not keep cursing yourself for doing that mistake, or do not feel so guilty that so miserable that you're actually damaging and harming yourself. It puts you under control. You will not procrastinate your word when you're self-motivated, and you will no longer see yourself as a slacker, as a backbencher sitting and doing nothing and always trying to have a sorry figure for yourself, saying, oh my God, I cannot do this. Oh my God, I cannot achieve this. Luck is not always in my favor. Luck is in your hands. You want to create it. You can do it. And that can be created only with your self-motivation. So how do I say motivate myself? There are a few simple steps which I would like to give you today, and then I can, after the steps, I would leave it to you to take that as a takeaway and start motivating yourself and build your own resilience. What is the first step? Step one is please get out of your comfort zone. We always want to work in that small box. We are very comfortable. We have become very cozy. We do not want to think out of the box and not willing to come out of that comfort zone. The day you decide, yes, I want to come out of that my comfort zone, is where you have already crossed your first stone of success. You've crossed that first stone. You're moving towards your success now. Step two, mistakes happen. So do not be afraid to commit mistakes. We learn only from mistakes. We cannot be perfect until and unless you make some mistakes, you will not be able to learn anything out of it. Wisdom helps us to avoiding the mistake is a mistake. Only you consider it as a mistake when you keep repeating that mistake again and again. Once you're learning from your mistake, you will definitely never again commit the same mistake. Wisdom helps you to avoid the mistakes, and it comes from millions of them. Third, please stop limiting yourself. The moment you think this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do, you're limiting, you're laying your own boundaries and telling people that no, I cannot do anything beyond this. So please stop limiting yourself. Don't indulge in self-limiting thinking. Think empowering, expansive thoughts. World is huge. Your small brain has lot of things which you can do. You can manifest you can help the universe manifest your thoughts into reality. Step 4, please be happy. Until and unless you have that hormones always working on you and you're happy, the positivity is not there. What you give to the world is what come back to you in 4-fold. So if you give happiness, it is going to come back in 1,000 folds to you. If you only generously give sadness to the world, that is what is going to come back to you. So choose to be happy. Happy people are easily motivated. Happiness is your bright side. Do not settle. It's your birthright. Please do not settle for anything lesser than it. Self-development is very essential for you. Step 5, spend at least 1 hour in self-development to read good books to inspire yourself. Please make something called as me time. Me time is very essential for you to build your resilience. Until you have that me time, I, me, myself, you're not going to build your resilience because you're not going to motivate yourself. You will always keep putting yourself down. Step 6, finish what you start. Never leave things unattended or leave it in between. If you have decided to start something, please complete it no matter how difficult it must be for you to start it and finish it. Train yourself to finish what you start, finish one task and then begin the other. Don't put your hands into too many things and finally face the difficulty of not completing anything. 7, please live in the present. We always keep telling your past is your history, your future is your mystery. What you have now is just your present. So please live in your present because that will help you live moment to moment, help you solve your problems. The moment you go to your history, you will not be able to focus on the solution, what you have for today. The moment you go into the future, you will not be able to solve your situation because what is there today. So please live in your present. Never give up, because this is one thing which we have seen in the generations where you tend to easily give up saying that, no, this is not something which I can really do. Until and unless you develop the attitude that, yes, this is something which I can definitely do and I will be able to complete it. When you keep conditioning yourself with that thought process, your entire world will manifest for you, your universe will manifest it for you, and you will see the reality. Dare to dream big, never settle for small things. We are all here with unique personalities. As Vijaya ma'am keeps saying, tongue print, we can never get it. That's a statement which I've taken from you, ma'am, that we need to dare to, because we are unique and we can dare to dream big. And the step 10 and the last step is live life to the fullest, because this is only one life which you've got. So live your life to the fullest. The L-I-F-E itself means live your life to the fullest. So that's the takeaway which I have for you today to take with you. Build your resilience, very, very important during the crisis period which we are facing right now, the COVID-19. Thank you so much for your time and your attention.
That was wonderful talk, Mehak. Very informative one. Any questions from the audience side? Any questions?
Probably, Kaiser sir, we can have the questions towards the end when Vijaya ma'am and Shiju have also spoken. So probably together they would be able to ask us few.
Not in
If they're willing.
Not in
Yes.
No, let me welcome our next speaker, Dr. Vijaya Saraswati, who's the founder, CEO of Godwin Academy. She's acclaimed mentor guru of India, a reputed inspirational life coach, and an international trainer. She is well equipped with the international concept of memory, abacus, and mental maths. Her 2 decades of experience with colleges and corporate brought in international assignments and recognition. She is appreciated for her programs in various cities of India, Malaysia, Singapore, and Australia. Dr. Vijaya Saraswati is Amazon's best author for a book, Will, that is Women Impact with Love and Leadership. She has also authored Happiness and You and Love, Learn, and Leverage. We welcome you, Dr. Vijaya Saraswati. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be with you all. It's a privilege to be in sync with Kizar, Mehak, and Thomas. These are very beautiful people who look beyond. So thank you so much for putting up this show. And I would like to congratulate all the participants who are here today. Because you know what is happening for the last 8 weeks? We are attending webinar after webinar. So we have a kind of developed fatigue for webinars. So in spite of all this, you people have chosen to be here today. That means we need to give you a good takeaway. So like Mehak said, dare to be different. We should never give up and do something phenomenal at time of crisis. So my topic is leadership. I always say a leader is not a person who creates followers. A leader is a person who creates more leaders. So at this time of quarantine, at this time of lockdown, at this time of crisis, all that we need to do is make our thought process in such a way that we think like a leader. We will not become the victim, but we will try to be the witness for this COVID 2019. The first thing I want to tell you is 2019 has already gone. 2020, what we are doing is we are trying to recoup, we are trying to rebuild, we are trying to reinvent, we are trying to do something which our the previous generation did not have a chance to do, because it is 100 years, right, since a pandemic hit the globe. So in 2019, the pandemic would not be this way because they had one thing missed, that is technology. So in spite of pandemic, in spite of lockdown, we are all connected. We all have this power called technology. We still know what is happening in the US. We still know what is happening in Australia. We still know what is happening in the tiniest, remotest place of the world. So what that means? That means God has given power to us. How are we going to use the power? So it is with you. It is your intention. It is not about how others behave in a situation. Given a chance, how do you behave? Because the best part of you comes out only if you have challenges, isn't it? When do you get to prove yourself? Not during when the tiding is good. Who will be an expert navigator? The person who has seen most up and down. In a sea, to be a good sailor, you should have seen the sea roaring, giving you challenges. That is when you will become an absolute amazing sailor. That the same way, when the tidings are good, we will not be able to identify our inherent potential. To unleash your potential, you need challenges. God gives us problems which He is sure that we can handle. So I would say today is the first day for the rest of your lives. So try and be somebody whom you will be astonished to see. So extension lockdown is your transformation countdown. So see what you can do within the preview of your support. I mean, whatever you can have access to. Within your preview, what is that you can do? How you can be a good leader? A good leader doesn't mean he needs money and power. A good leader is somebody who shares love and happiness. Love and happiness are something which you can give only if you have. Imagine you don't have batter in the vessel, how will you make dosas? Isn't it? It's a process. You need to know how to prepare the batter, what is the quantity, how much of salt you need to put, how should be the flame, how much hot the tawa should be. So anything you do, give your 100%. At this time of quarantine, I would love to give you 3 important factors which you can think of, which you can work on. The first thing is give eye for detail for your life, because thoughts are things. Give eye for detail. Introspect and see your past, because nobody, however millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire we are, or we are pauper, we cannot get back to our past. The moment which is gone by is bygone. So first introspect which part of your life you are. So I always say people, like, divide your life 8 years, 16 years, 24 years, 32 years, 40 years, 48 years, 56 years, 62 years, and 70 years. So up to 70 is our mortality rate, right? So have your life cut into pieces and see what happens. See, for example, if I take my life, I'm 42 years old, half of my life is gone. So what did I do in 8, 16 and 24? Yes, I had a good education. I married an awesome, handsome man whom I wanted to live my life with. I mean, I'm living my life by choice, which is amazing for me. So I ensured that I married the man of my choice. I had education, and most importantly, by the time I was 24, I had defined the purpose of my life. What I would like to do when I'm 32, what I would like to do when I'm 40. I remember when I was 24, I had decided I need 3 kids. One for love, I mean, one for health and love, one for wealth and celebration, and the third one is for happiness and credibility in my life. So it was basic health, wealth, happiness. I had designed my life. So what I'm saying is, when I was 24, I knew when I will be 40 or 40, and that 8, that quadrant, whichever 8 quadrant I am, there I will be having 3 children. So when I had to do this, I had to plan when I will have my children, how my husband treats this, how much, because it is a partnership, right? So in this partnership, relationship is very important. So how he treats this, and how many children you want, and is this goal completed? So this goal is completed, because see, when I'm 42, 45, 48, I cannot plan 3 children, right? I will hit menopause and then I'm done. So this life is temporary. Do not take permanent decisions for temporary life. A leader is a person who will take constructive criticism, who will see his life in 30, 60 and 90 days. That means a leader will review his life for 30 days, 60 days and 90 days. Live your life moment by moment. So when you live your life moment by moment, you start doing short-term goals, mid-term goals and long-term goals. If you think I'm going in the right direction, just type S in the chat box. Rohit, Archana, I don't see your faces, but I'm so happy to see your names. Bubbly, Richa, Ume, Bhaskar Rao, Madhu Singh, Neelam, Karan Desai, Kizar, Mehak, Shiju and myself. See, we are here in this afternoon to learn something which our thought process will allow us to do from now on. This is just not during the crisis, but this is for lifetime. Every 30 days, you need to do a review what went good in your life, what went wrong, what could have been better, how you could have transacted, and how you could have cooperated. Cooperation in this moment of crisis. Whenever you want to do a partnership and when you're trying to co-create something, analyze with whom you're associating. If somebody is going to disturb your peace of mind, be it your blood relationship, it's not worth your time, effort, and energy. Be with people who make you feel positive. Be with people who make you genuinely happy. Be with people who love you with all your flaws. Because no one is human is at there. Nobody is false free. Nobody is who can say that, oh, I'm the perfect lot. No, no one can be perfect. This is life. And you cannot, pressurize your thought process in someone else. They have all the right to think the way they want to think. We have to give people the right to think the way they are, feel the way they are, and want to be the way they are. Freedom is very costly. So, in this time of thought leadership, I will tell you to take care of 4 things. One is your money, because now this is the time you need to be very careful with your money, because you have to pay yourself first and you have to pay forward. You don't know how many more months things are going to lose or how your business is going to reshape, what is going to happen. So when I'm saying this, I'm also saying you to be positive. Have the mind of abundance, but ensure that you are penny wise. Don't be pound foolish and penny wise, but be really wise with how you take charge of your financials. Because every penny saved is every penny earned. This is the time to think about minimalism. This is the time to think about having healthy food and refraining from 3 times a meal to, you can, think about intermittent fasting, which is very good for your health. Think about eating healthy. Think about yoga, meditation, and more of physical activity so that you can transform your body. You have only this one body to live all your life. You can build 5 homes. You can build, hundreds of sites you can buy. You can potentially become a most billionaire money-wise, but you will have to give it to inherit to somebody and live this place, because death is definite. We all are going to go outside this planet dead only. Nobody is going to live this spaceship Earth alive. If you think this is right, just type yes. You can just put Y in the chat box. Keep yourself active during workshops so that Richa is already typing yes. So it gives me immense pleasure to talk to you people about the thought leadership. So like I said, 1, you need to be very careful with money. So I told I'll be talking about 4 things, right? The second thing is, as a thought leader, you have to be very careful with your relationships. At this time of COVID, all of us are frustrated. All of us are facing challenges. Each of us have our own points, our own, inhibitions, our own challenges. But be you. For some time, put yourself in the other person's shoes. In relationships, come what may, respect is very important. If someone is not respecting you, don't give charge for them to treat you bad. Period. Even if it is not, you are not happy, saying them that it is serious, please put it very clear to people. You would love to be treated the way they treat you, right? So very simple. Relationships have three important things to do. One is speak your mind, but still be kind. Second, if you know it is not working, let them go. Don't forcefully hold a relationship. It's not going to, be worthy. If they have to be connected, they will be connected. If it has to be, it will be. Because the universe manifests relationships, right? You have to put all your efforts, but that doesn't mean you need to beg, borrow, steal relationships. So be very clear with whom you want to associate with in relationships. And the third most important, I told, be kind, be clear with your conversation. Love, more than love, respect is important. And the third thing in relationship is, at this time of quarantine, forget what happened in the past, start a new slate. Like I said, today is the first day for the rest of your lives, and start new innings. Forget what happened. You just give a try and start something new and keep faith of moving forward. So money is over, relationships are over. The third one I'm talking is, actually I should have spoken this first, but in leadership it will look like as though I'm in a health class. So that's why I put health as the third position. But any day, any time in life, health is the most priority. It's the most important thing in life. If you're healthy, you can do anything. Do not trade health for money. Because if your health goes wrong, again you have to pay money to bring back your health and restore your health. So health is very important, and the three basic tips for health is always there, which I say. The first thing is meditation. Meditate, meditate, meditate. The second thing is your exercise. At least half an hour a day, either do yoga or exercise or walking or whichever makes you happy, or you can do the cocktail or mocktail of everything. You can do infinity walking. Please Google 8-shaped walking. It is very good for you. And then you can do exercise, you can cycle, you can skip, you can play, laugh, do, but ensure that you have physical activity around you. And at this time of quarantine, when maids are costly and household work is immense to do, please help your mother or your wife or your sister or whoever it is, because every contribution counts. A leader is a person who will contribute. So this is about health. So I told money, I told about relationships, I told about health. The last one is experiences. So experience this experience, because this is unique in itself. Nobody has seen this kind of experience. Nobody can say that, hey, wow, I know COVID-19. Is there anybody who will say that I have a previous experience in COVID-19? It's nothing about that. It's amateur. We all are amateur in this. All that we need to do is maintain cleanliness. I didn't put it in health because this is the experience, and this is not even health. This is the need of the hour. Washing your hands, keeping yourself clean, keeping your environment clean, ensuring you are, maintaining the social distance. Where it is required, you wear the mask. See, I have been home quarantined and stamped for 7 days. So it is not whether the police is seeing me or not. It is about me maintaining 7 days home quarantine at home, because it is my individual responsibility. With authority comes responsibility. So I should ensure that I am not allowing or infecting somebody else at this time of crisis, because it's very difficult to curb this. Because COVID-19, if it spreads for one person, that person can spread 3. So that person can spread another 9. That 9 can spread 27. So what happens? What I'm saying is, at this time of quarantine, the experience is you spread smiles. What best you can do all the good you can for all the people you can, with all the heart you can. Try be different. Don't allow anybody to predict who you are. You be what you are. Even the person who has stayed with you for 25 years should not be able to predict how you're going to transact the transaction which is going to come the next moment. Be different, be in charge of your life, and love life, because we have only one life. We can't say that we live once. We all die once. We live every day. We live every moment. That's why Bhagavad Gita says, live in the present. Present means gift. It is a gift. So this life is a gift. Now we know all the more how valuable a life is. So let us celebrate life. Let us love this life and do more what we can do. So Kaiser is my timekeeper. Let me check how much more time I have. Kaiser, how
You have
much
other
more
2
time I
minutes
have?
with you, ma'am.
I have 2 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, lovely. See, I'm a good speaker. Huh? I wanted to give you 4 points. I gave what all it is to be, and then I'm feeling happy that I'm completing on time. So when you have to speak concise, that's when you should know what you need to really speak. So in this 2 minutes, what I would love to give is my 2 cents. However negative things are, however challenges it is, whatever you're facing, just start fresh. Get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. This is a new start. Just give your thought process. There will be a door which is waiting for you. All that you need to do is just not knock, just push and see if it works for you. So the door what God has opened for you, nobody can close. And the door what God has closed for you, nobody can open. So never give up. Be a thought leader in your own right. What you were yesterday, none of our business. What you're going to be today and how you're going to transform your future from good to great is what really matters. Matters. So be an effective communicator, be resilient, and ensure you emerge a thought leader in crisis. We love you. So I finish my talk always by saying my high-five statement. Sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. God bless you all. Have a super start, friends. God bless you.
That was a brilliant one, Dr. Vijaya Saraswati. Now, quickly, let me take you to our next speaker, Mr. Shiju Thomas. Let me tell a few lines about him. He's a recipient of Excellence Award in Training and Development from Mother Teresa Virtual University. He has done MBA in HR, BBA in Aviation, and enthusiastic speaker with industry experience in the BPO, hospitality, and aviation industry. One of my favorite. I welcome you, Mr. Shiju Thomas. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Kaiser. And I feel really blessed to sit with all of you over here, especially with Dr. Vijaya and Mehak, because these people are really experienced people, and I was literally overwhelmed with whatever they are telling. I was literally, into the screen totally. Yeah. So again, when it comes to my topic, we are actually talking about thought leadership in crisis. So the topic that I would want to talk about today will be on the leader who can communicate really well with their people at the time of crisis. So probably I just want to throw one question at each and every one of you over here, asking you that how many of you believe that we are a good leader? How many of you say that, yes, I am a leader, or I have been a leader at one point of time at least? You can either respond in your chat messages, or you can raise your hand as your school children, Vijaya Saraswati ma'am and Mehak are doing that. Yes. So we have been a good leader at one point of time at least. But at the time of this COVID, when we talk about this situation, at the time of this crisis, there has been a lot of instances where we have seen a lot of people losing their jobs due to all these kind of problems. There are a lot of layovers happening in a lot of companies. But unfortunately, there are a lot of instances which has come to my point that there has been problems in the company because of the leader, or because of how the leader has communicated it with the people over there. So I find it very important, especially at the time of crisis, because in crisis, what you say matters a lot. What you speak to your people matters a lot. How you say it matters a lot. So that's exactly why I took this point. I took this topic as a communicative leadership at the time of crisis. So the first thing that we have to keep in mind is to make sure that you put yourself in your people's shoe. I'm not telling put yourself in other person's shoe. I'm telling put yourself in your people's shoe, because when it comes to your family, if there is a crisis in your family, you think from everybody's point of view, right? The same thing happens in a company, the same thing happens in a firm, the same thing happens when you are leading a team. Your first task is to start with a clear view of who you are and your audiences and what you want to accomplish with them. That is the most important thing that you have to keep in mind, especially during crisis. The better you understand what your audience cares about, the most or the more likely you will achieve the desires to come. Yes, so whatever you feel is right for your people is what you get it right. Tell your people you know how much you know so far, because at the time, see, I have seen this many a times whenever Mr. Our Mr. Narendra Modi comes online and he talks about this is what is the situation now. We are going to talk about the problems. We are going to have another extended lockdown, because initially we started with 15 days, then another 30 days, then another 15 days. So he was coming very frequently, but again he was telling everybody, as a leader he was coming and telling what he knows so far and how we are trying to overcome it. As a leader during crisis, you have to meet your people, communicate to them, tell them what is the problem and why are we in this crisis, what are we taking or what steps are we taking to come out of this situation. Something which is very important, don't wait until you have all the facts. Yes, it is very important that you get all the facts, but don't wait for all the facts to come. You analyze everything, keep the decision ready, and then tell, because by that time you are considered as a silent leader. A silent leader will not be taken as positive or accurate or helpful. Yes, so it is very important that you give time to time information to your people. Tell your people what you do not know. That is also very important. Tell your people that you do not know. How many of you over here knows that when will the COVID situation come down? How many of you know that the COVID will not be here? Yes. So if you don't know certain things, it is good enough to tell your people that, yes, boss, this is something that I don't know about. Yes. But yes, we are trying to find out a solution, how to overcome this. I will be, by the end of the session, I'll be giving you a story. I'll be telling you a story which has come to my notice and which I felt really bad about it. And the person who spoke to me was a very close friend of mine. Yes, so I'll share the story by the end of the session. You will realize how wrong the person was, or what was the problem over there. The next thing that I would want everybody to see is make sure that your leader should always be honest. You are a person who is honest, and when and how you will be able to fill in the important gaps. Communicate progress frequently. Tell the people that this is what we are doing. We have reached here. We are progressing. Even if you are not progressing, please communicate with them, telling that we are going one step behind, but we are trying to come forward. Yes, but if you, again, as I said, if you become a silent leader, it is going to be a problem. Yes, being a leader, all these things matters a lot, because communication is something which is very, very important when it comes to a leader. Trust is never more important than in crisis. Be honest about where things stand. Don't be afraid to show that you are vulnerable. Yes, most of us feel that if I say that, oh, I don't know about it, I will be, people will not take me seriously. No, it is not that way. If you say that, boss, this is something that I don't know, I will make sure that I'll find out and I'll come back to you about it. Yes, a leader is a person who keeps transparency. He will build loyalty, and he will be more effective when he is telling certain things. Yes, the more loyal you are towards your people, they will trust you even more. It is a very, very important statement. As a leader, focus on the needs of the concern of your people. Yes, do not make the message focused on you or damage control. Yes, once you start focusing on yourself, I did this, I did that, I will be doing this in the future, I will be doing that in the future, the focus is completely on you, The person will be telling that, no, you are not my leader. Yes. What are you doing for us? You tell me that. What are you doing for your people? You tell me that. Where appropriate knowledge, the concern of the people, deal with them directly. Yes. Go down to the people and deal with the problems directly. I would want to give you a very good example for this is Mr. Ratan Tata. Yes, I don't know how many of you have heard the story, but one person once met Ratan Tata, and Mr. Ratan Tata looked at him and he told him that, I know you, you're working in my firm. So he said, yes sir, I'm working in your firm. And Mr. Ratan Tata asked him his name, and he told his name to Ratan Tata, and Mr. Ratan Tata immediately told, you have a mother, you have a father, you have a son and two daughters at home. That person was taken aback. He was literally shocked. How do this person know that my father, my mother, my wife, and my son and my three daughters? Yes. So that is the leader which I'm talking about. You should know what the person is and where the person is, what the person is doing all about. Where possible, leave no room for proper assumptions. Yes. When you give them assumptions, you give them, okay, guess, what is going to happen in the future. Yes. You tell them that, this is the problem. Guess how I'm going to solve it. Yes. That is not a leader. A clear message is supposed to be given to your people. Don't give them guesses. Don't give them assumptions. Don't let them assume things. Don't give a vague thought, vague idea about what I'm going to do. Be clear with what a leader is going to do. Have control over your words. Yes, what you say is very important. And especially when you are a leader, what you say makes a lot of difference. Yes, because you are changing a person. You are being a leader. As Vijaya ma'am said, leader means you are making even more leaders. Yes, a leader makes many leaders, and those leaders go and make even more leaders. Yes, so have control over your words, because a wrong statement will create a big problem, especially when you are a leader and you are speaking to your people. It is very important that you give a proper, clear conversation and control over your words. And when you are a leader, make sure that you're confident. Yes, you're confident. Your message delivery must be confident. The person should feel, yes, I will do it. I will make sure that there is a change going to happen. And even if you are going wrong somewhere, say for example, when we talk about this pandemic, we are talking about this crisis, the business is not going fine, income is not flowing in. I will have to take out few people from my company. I will have to make sure that few people have to leave because of all these things. I will not be able to pay them salaries. Be confident when you are telling them, because most of the time, like I have experienced this many a times, most of my contacts, they call me and tell me, sir, my boss has told me this. What does that mean? The boss told the employee a statement where the employee is confused. Do I have a job or did he ask me to leave? Yes, so that confusion should not be there. Be confident and tell the person that, see, this is what the situation is. We will not be able to pay you. So you will have to leave. And because that is the situation right now, and especially at the time of crisis, the situation happens everywhere. The situation happens everywhere, but the way you tell it matters a lot. And you have to convey that you are able to handle the situation, and you have a lot of people who are helping you out to handle this situation. You ask your people for suggestions if they can give you certain suggestions. Yes, on this note, I would want to conclude by telling the story that I was about to tell you. The story goes this way, where a contact of mine, he called me and he told me that, sir, he called me in the month of February, and he told me that, sir, everywhere COVID is spreading, so probably India also will be having the same issue. So my company has asked me to work from home. I said, well and good, no problem. What is the problem in that? So he said, so work from home in the sense 50% people can work from office. The rest 50 are supposed to work from home. The people who are working from home will get half the salary. People who are working from office will get full salary. So I said, so what? So he said, sir, I'm getting half salary. It is okay. but they are getting full salary. I said, okay, so, but at least you're getting your salary, right? So he said, so salary is fine. I'm okay with it, but every month that change will happen. So this month I will be sitting home. Next month I'll be working. So I said, so next month you will get full salary. He said, yes, I'll get full salary. So what is the problem? I said, no problem. I said, okay, fine. March mid, when the lockdown started, he called me again and he told me, sir, I got a letter yesterday from my office. Shall I read it to you? I said, please go ahead, read it. And he read the email to me, and the email was really shocking because it was a termination letter. Yes, the company did not tell him anything. The company did not ask him anything. The company did not even, the person who was supposed to be, or the company who was supposed to help at this point of time didn't say anything. Immediately, one fine day, he's opening his email, working from home. He opened his email and there is a termination letter. Yes, this termination letter took him so back. This person called me and he was really upset. And he told me, sir, what should I do? I said, you speak to your manager, you speak to your boss, you tell them at this situation, what can we do? So he called his manager and his manager told him that there is no business and you are also not getting any business. So we don't have any option. So that's why we terminated you. So he told the manager, when there is no business, how will I get you business? So finally, the term came in a way where he was so upset about what happened. He started bad mouthing about that company to everybody. Yes, he started bad mouthing in the sense like, I can understand his feelings, I can understand his pain, because he called me and he told me, sir, 7 years I spent my 7 years for this company. From a small garage, he has got a building, a 2-storied building where around 70 people are working, and it did not even or the company did not even give me a chance to speak to the company and ask why you are doing this to me. Yes, communication matters a lot. In the same time, if the company would have called the person and told that this is what the situation is, we are trying to, or if the company tells that 50% salary I'm paying you anyway, but I'm not able to get business, I will make it as 10% of your salary or 25% of your salary, or you even tell the person that I will have to lay off people because there is no business, this person would have at least understood the situation. But he is now not understanding the situation, because only thing that goes in his mind is, what should I do with my family? I have got my wife to take care of, I have got my kids to take care of, I have got my parents to take care of. His thought is going that way. But if the company would have spoken to him and told him what is the situation, he would not have thought this way, and he would not have started bad mouthing about the company. Yes, on this note, I would want to conclude. I would want to tell you, everybody, make sure that when you are speaking to somebody, especially when you are a leader, when you are helping somebody in some way, leading the group, leading the team, make sure that your communication matters a lot. Yes, try and understand the feeling of the person. I don't tell that, sympathize along with the person, but empathy is something that is required. Yes, understand what the person wants, understand what your people want, and go ahead with it. On this note, I would say thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak, Kaiser. And you have been a very lovely audience. Thank you all so much. Any questions, you can go ahead, because all three of us are, I think, open to questions. Yeah.
It was really wonderful, Shiju. With real-time examples, you explained some interesting things. Any questions from the audience side?
Thank you.
I have few questions to all the three speakers, which I have got through social media. I have a question for Vijaya ma'am. Ma'am, we have one person by name Ram who has asked, what is one characteristic that you believe every leader should possess?
Leverage. Every leader should have a quality of leverage. Every leader should have a quality of win-win. Every leader should have a quality of co-create. See, in leadership, it is not me, it is we. Always think how you can replicate your position, how you can create a second in line. Because if you create a second in line, that is when you can go to the next position. when Siju was talking about the real-time example, I was thinking about what that person's internal consequences was, challenges was, because he started right from the start. It all begins with the thought, right? If you would have had positive intention about, the universe will manifest that. So in a leader, it is important to have the attitude of gratitude and leverage. I would say that only one attribute. Leverage will help you. See, if you're, suppose think you discovered, if Columbus would have discovered America and if he would have kept it to himself, what would have happened? Isn't it? We would have discovered later on, right? It is not that it would have been a lost island, isn't it? So like that, a leader should understand to be specific and terrific, and always understand to co-create and create a situation of win-win. It is not about taking credit. A leader is a person who will give credit to his team when it is successful, like Abdul Kalam, and when there is a failure, he will take it on himself. So leverage is the word, one attribute which I would say will make every leader different from an autocratic leader to an assertive leader. Hope I answered Ram's question.
Thank you, ma'am. We have one lady by name Shruti who's asking Shijo, what is most important to you, mission, core values, or vision?
Mission, core values, or vision?
Yes.
All three, I can say.
That was a good one, Shijo.
Because all the three are very important.
It is like goddess is asking whether, bronze or silver or this gold axe belongs to you. When a woodcutter puts it in the water,
Absolutely.
it is like all the three belongs to me. Superb, Shiju.
Everything should be there. Yes.
It is going to cut the tree. It's going to do good to the organization. Amazing answer. Absolute leader, Shiju Thomas.
Frankly, a person should. Yeah, because a person should have a vision towards what mission he is having. Yes, and his core values matters a lot when it comes to the mission. If he wants to success or if he wants to reach the target where he is reaching, yes, core values are something which is very important. Yeah, so even though it was a funny one answer, but yeah, it's actually very important. The question was really good though, but I cannot differentiate, or I cannot say this or this or this. Like all three are very, very important. Yes.
Thank you, Shijo. We have other question from Syed to Mehak. What is the biggest challenge which leaders are facing today?
The challenge which they are facing today, according to me, is they have to run the organization. They need to also be loyal to the organizations which they are running. At the same time, they need to show their loyalty towards their team members also. So the risk comes, they understand the problems of the management. At the same time, they understand the problems of the team members as well. So in between, they need to see that there is a clear-cut balance. So balancing is the biggest challenge which we are facing when it comes to the team as well as the organization, because a clear balance is very important to face the situation we are in right now, where it's a win-win situation on both the sides.
Thank you, Mehak. We have one more question, ma'am, to Vijaya ma'am. What advice would you give someone going to a leadership position for the first time?
The first time leaders, my best advice is listen. That's why you have 2 years. Speak less and listen more. Empathize with your team. Because when you're a leader, you need to listen and understand what the situation is, but take your own decision. Don't become biased or partial, because this is a very challenging times for leaders, because we are in a place where there are a lot of communities, there are a lot of languages, there are a lot of regions, there are a lot of things which can be matching with somebody, but all that you have to see is the purpose is to be focused as a leader and look into the job and take a decision based on what is good to the organization. So for that, you need to listen. You need to give eye for detail. You need to honestly screen through things. So for the leader, the first time leader, the first time officer, it is very difficult to be unbiased. So that is what I would say. As a leader, you need to be unbiased.
We have one more question from Mr. Karan Desai. How to address the challenge of informing the team for inability to pay salary for 2 months in this COVID-19?
This question is for whom?
This is for all the 3 panelists he has asked through chat.
Okay. So can you repeat the question so that we go one after the other?
How to address the challenge of informing the team for inability to pay salary for 2 months?
The first thing what you have to do is call them one-to-one. Call them one-to-one, make them sit and ask them how we can collectively come out of this challenge. You have to genuinely say why you are not able to pay and how you need to stay connected in this time of quarantine and how they can contribute their time, effort and energy till the situation goes on. See, 3 things you have to make clear. Are you not able to hire? Is it the fire policy where you want to show the exit door? Then you have to be even more very clear with your words, because the letters are interchanged. That's all. Sword and words are same. Like that person can go out and badmouth about your company. So what you need to do is, first thing, sit with that person and genuinely address that you literally can't pay. If he looks outside, he can at least get a salary. Here, the challenge is you should tell, you should tell them that you are staying at the first instinct itself. It is not that you are making them work for 3 months and later on say that you are not able to pay salary. You are calling a spade a spade. So say the as it is situation to your employee, whether it is a hire or fire. If it is a short-term challenge, maybe where you require their service again. So in that case, what you have to do is, see, we need your service, just that we don't have business and it is a global pandemic. It's not that you and I are facing, the whole world is facing. Can you support us at this time of crisis? Or how we can co-create being together forward? So you have to check with them. See, is it okay if I don't pay you salary for the first 3 months and later on can I pay it in installments for the amount I am due? Can you manage your family? How many people are there? What is the savings you have? So you have to indulge in one-to-one conversation. Don't call for a group meeting. If you really want to retain someone, please don't send a messenger. I have my personal experience of losing a very good employee because I made somebody as an intermediary to communicate between that person and I, because that person was getting agitated at the drop of the hat. Literally, I realized what I communicated and what the intermediary communicated to that person was different. This I am saying from 7-8 years back when I was, wanting to be a leader. Now I know crisp, clear, specific and terrific strategies. When I started, this happened with me. So it can happen with you as well. So whenever you want to retain somebody, take a pen and a paper and draw a plan forward. So the third thing is, like I said, hire and fire, or you have no, funds now, but you want that person and later on you can pay. So that strategy you have to talk. The last thing, the third one is, you are itself bankrupt. You have already taken, their services for 1 or 2 months. And then now that you have to wind up and you have no choice, honestly put it to them and ask them how you can honor their services. First thing, make sure to tell that their services were valid, they were indispensable from the organization and it was very valuable, but just that the time didn't support that we have to lose the entire game show, and ask them how they can support. So like I said, it will differ from case to case basis. So plan forward. Do you want to cut the wire or you want to extend it? It all depends on you and it has to be decided case to case basis. Thank you. Over to Mehak.
I would completely agree on what Dr. Vijaya had to say on this, because this is out of the personal experience is what we have done. Because when the COVID started, we run an aviation institute, and being an aviation institute, we have to pay the salaries to the trainers, and the salaries come with the price, because aviation is not a very easy subject or which everyone can handle. So we come across the trainers who come with the price, and they are value for the money which we hire them for. So once we also, during the COVID, we have faced a situation where we had to talk to our trainers, and the method which we applied as well was talking to them individually, explaining to them the situation for the next few months, what the situation is going to be, taking their opinion and how we could collaborate and work further, because we are talking in today's scenario as a team, and we are not talking as a manager telling something to the employee. The employee and the managerial stage is no longer there. We work as teams. So it's like I grow and you grow together. So we put it across to the management. We put it across that this is the problem the management is facing, and how we come across. And as Dr. Vijaya said, there were two options. Either we cut on the salaries on 50%, or we do not pay them for the next 2 months or 3 months. And then as and when the business starts picking up, again tell them that, okay, this will be compensated in installments, because at one go, the company cannot completely pay the entire salary at one shot. So we came to a conclusion, a mutual understanding from both the sides, both the parties, that how it's going to work, because neither they wanted to lose a company like ours, nor we wanted to lose the staff like them. So the best policy would be to have a clear communication and do not hide the facts and try to show something and actual facts are something else. If we like it or no, everything financially and commercially is very much visible in the outside world. Over to you, Shiju.
Yeah, Mr. Karan, I would also say the same thing, because what Mehak and what Dr. Vijay has told is this, it's the absolute, the truth. Because if I say, I would say, be honest with your employee, tell them what is the situation, show them. I would suggest, I would not ask you to show them the the balance sheet and things like that, but make them understand that yes, business is not there. And again, you can also tell them that even though there was no business for last 2 months or 3 months or something, still we had you in on board, and we were taking care of you. But it is just a matter of 2 months, and we would not want to lose a very potential employee or a candidate like you, and we want you to continue with our company. When you tell these things to them, they will be really happy, and they would want to retain with your company. They would not want to leave a company where the boss or the leader is telling them, I want you in my company. Yes, anybody, if somebody is coming and telling me that, please don't leave my company, I want you in my company because you are the best at what you are doing, I would say, no boss, I will not leave the company. Yes, so the same way, they want to be there. And the only thing is, like, you can just tell them that this is what the situation is. And as both of them said, you can tell them that, once the business picks up, we will make sure that the salary that has been cut for this 2 months, we will make sure that you will get it back again. Yes, but again, at the stretch, we won't be able to give it to you. But yes, by installments, slowly, you will be getting the entire amount of that 2 months. And when you are telling them that, it is very important that, you be true to your words and make sure that, everybody does that. Because I'll give you a very good example of mine itself, because I do training for one of the colleges, and the person told me that you will not be paid for this month. I was like, okay. And I said, I nodded my head and I just walked out. And the classes were going continuously. And I did not ask him whether he will be paying me. Okay, and if not now, will you pay me after a few months the salary that you're cutting now? So I called him and asked, sir, would you be paying me for the salary that you're not paying me now? Will you be giving that amount later? So he said, no, that is okay. You just leave that. No, next month onwards, I will pay it to you. So, make sure that if you're telling them that you will be paying them installments from next month, please, do pay them. And as Mehak said, we don't know when this situation is coming under control. Yes, now as of now it is under control, but day before yesterday on a social media platform, I saw an image where when the panic situation was more, corona virus was less. But when the panic situation came down, the virus is becoming more, because people are moving out and social distancing, they are not keeping it. So I'm not very sure what is going to happen in the future. So you can always tell them, don't give them a time frame that for 2 months I will not be able to pay them or something like that. Just tell them that till the situation comes under control, we will be keeping this on hold. That is one thing that you can do, because if you tell them a certain months or time period, then you will have to start off from there again. Yes, and if things don't work out for you at that time, then finally you will have to ask the person to leave, though that becomes even more difficult in that situation. Yes. So I think, Karan, the question has been answered.
Thank you, Shiju. Any other questions from the audiences? Nobody? Fine. Let us conclude this session now. Anyways, we had a wonderful session for more than 90 minutes. And there's one more question from Krish there. What can we do to stay away from demotivators? Any of the speaker can kindly answer this?
Just stay away from them.
I just have in mind.
You already know they are demotivators, so why do you want to be in contact with them?
Just stay away from them. Just keep yourself just keep yourself away from those people, because see, there are a lot of people that way who will tell you a lot of things. There are a lot of people who will be motivating you in a way, but the problem with us is we get diverted towards demotivation more than motivation. Yes, when somebody is demotivating, you feel that, oh, I'm not good. But when somebody is telling, oh, you're really good, you'll just think, oh, okay, fine. But 10 other people has told me that, no, I'm not good. Yes, so it is always good that you keep your distance. When I tell distance, we are not talking about social distancing of 2 meters, 3 meters. I'm telling them, put the person in a different planet altogether. Don't go near that person at all. Yeah.
So the question is, what if we have to stay in a team? Keep your interaction minimal. Don't get carried away by what they say. Keep your thoughts clear and concise, and you don't be a part of you don't attract them like a magnet. Just you analyze your situation. You see what it is, and for thinking positive or being motivated, it's you. Whatever you think, whether it is right or wrong, you're right. That's what Henry Ford said. The whole world told him that V8 engine cannot be manufactured. But he had it in his mind that that can be done, and he did it. So don't get bogged down by what is happening. You have heard of this deaf frog, no? Like there was a race where all the frogs were, asked to climb a mountain. So all the people who were audience were saying, no, you can't climb, you can't do this, you can't do this. That the mountain is so big, you can't mount the hill and all that stuff. But one frog made it. You know how it made it? Because it was a deaf frog. It didn't hear what others were saying about it. And you all know the story of Bumblebee, right? Bumblebee doesn't know that it can't carry the weight of its body and fly. So that's why it's still flying. If people would have told it can't do it, then it would have been a challenge by itself. So demotivators will be everywhere, not only in your team. There will be people in your house, your own kith and kin, your own blood and bone. Sometimes your own children won't believe you. I keep telling my children I will lose weight. They will say, Mom, which year you tell me which year you lose weight. So they can be, people who don't believe you. But remember one thing, people will not believe what you say, but people will definitely believe what you do. So call for action and you be responsible for what it is. Don't even look into demotivators like what Shiju said. Stay away. That is the only thing you can do. Walk away from people who put you down. Walk away from people who demotivate you. Walk away from people who are naysayers. If you want to say no, say no. If you want to say yes, say yes. But stick to what you are speaking, because your words have power and value. What you think of yourself is more important than what the world thinks of you. So God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijaya ma'am.
Yeah.
And let us quickly wrap up this session. I'll be thanking Dr. Vijaya, Saraswati, Mrs. Mahek Kalra, Mr. Shri Thomas for being a part today. And I thank all the audiences for giving the precious time and being a part for this session today. I thank each and everybody. Have a great time ahead. Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Kaiser, and thank you all, because you all have been a really good audience. Thank you very much, and thank you for all the questions. I think the WhatsApp group is still on, so if anybody has got any questions, they can put over there. Yes, Kaiser?
Please send a feedback and
Exactly.
review for us. Please
I've
send
got
a
my
review
contact
for
number
this.
over here. They can get in touch with me.
All right.
Kindly ask them to send a review for the session. We will be very happy. Thank you. Very insightful session. Lot of takeaways. So this is what makes PEPs be trainers to do more and be more and have more. God bless you all. Please share the reviews with us. And we want to inspire you and influence you to climb greater heights and be the person you want to be. Transform from good to great. So please send us reviews. Kizar's WhatsApp number is shared. So kindly send your reviews. We take pride in reading the comments. And appreciation is the key. God
Thank you,
bless you.
ma'am. Thank
So much
Thank
time.
you.
Thank